I thought it defined my business. I thought like I was the makeup artist with the bus. And so it was all about something with, but who are you by yourself? Like standing straight tall up with nothing around. Sometimes we hold on to stuff that we know we're supposed to let go of. And I'm a firm believer of things will be moved whether you want them to or not. Hey, this is Takia Ross, owner of Accessamatize, and you are watching Where Are You Now with Black Girl Ventures. Hey, beautiful.
Takia Ross.
Hey, beautiful.
CEO, founder of Accessamatize Makeup Artistry.
Yes, that's me.
How you feeling?
I'm good. How are you?
So this interview is special for me. Just because our relationship over these last 7-8 years, 7 years.
Yeah, it's been a long time.
I know. That's so wild.
We should celebrate, like have anniversaries.
We should.
Yeah,
Oh, I like that.
We should.
That's actually a good idea.
Okay, let's do it.
2017.
Mm-hmm.
All right. You have the what is it? Pretty Mobile Makeup Studio.
Yes. Yeah.
And you're pitching.
I am.
You pitching it, and you come to pitch at the Black Girl Ventures pitch competition, and you said you should bring this to Baltimore. You didn't say Baltimore because I know that's
I said Baltimore. I said bring it to Baltimore.
And I'm like, all right, you gonna help me bring it there?
Yep.
And you did.
Yes.
And that's what we got, Brittany.
Yep.
That's what we got. Tanika Speaks.
Yep.
Just awesome, amazing women founders.
Mm-hmm.
And the next year, you was busy. You couldn't do it. Nobody came. I never told you that.
No.
You did not know that.
I did not know.
The next year, we tried to do the competition. That's why I never did it again. The only reason why the pitch, not necessarily the only reason why I has to do you that way, but I'm just saying that like we tried to do it again.
Yeah.
And nobody came.
I didn't know that. I didn't know that.
You were busy that year. You were starting up with So You Want to Pitch.
Yep.
And so you wrote the book.
I did.
So You Want to Pitch because you were killing it. What made you decide to write the book So You Want to Pitch?
Because people were asking me how to do it. Like I was finding that it was so many, especially Black founders in Baltimore. So I'm going to put on my professional voice in Baltimore, who just didn't know how. They had never heard of it in that way. They didn't know that you could pitch and get money for your business. They didn't. And so they were asking like, how are you doing this? What are you doing? Like, how do I do it? How do I get money? So I was like, I'm going to put it in a workbook. And if you want it, get the book. And they wanted it. So they got the
so
book.
much so that you're still doing workshops and things like that, classes and stuff around So You Want to. And did you do pitch competitions?
We did pitch competitions. We do workshops. We do everything. Remember, we brought you to our first conference. And that was like huge to have a conference. Like I didn't think that this South Baltimore girl was going to be able to pull off a conference, but we did it.
Of course. Because you Takia Ross.
I appreciate you for saying that. But in the house, like, because you and I are good girlfriends. In the house, I'm Takia Ross. It's a different, when you outside, it's like, I'm Takia Ross. But when you in the house, it's like, girl, you Takia Ross.
Right.
You know that,
Kiki
right?
at that point.
What's wrong? You know what I mean?
I think that's interesting because you're watching your journey. I've just been loving it every step, and I'm a super fan.
We're super fan. Listen, we fangirling over each other.
Super fan. Okay, who do I want to do it? I want Takia to do it. Can she do it? I don't know.
We gonna figure it out.
I don't know if she can do it or not. What does she need done? Whatever I figure out what I'm gonna do when I ask her if she can do it or not.
But you know what? That's something, and I was thinking about it before we sat down today. I was thinking about that because one of the things like getting funded is one thing, right? So having somebody fund your business, having somebody invest in your business is something totally different to me. So I think Black Girl Ventures funds businesses and they invest in them. So you've always come back. Like you've always said, you know what? I'm going to give Takia a chance. Like, you know what? I got there is in my network. So I'm going to pull from my network first. Like who Who in this network of women can I pull from? And not all funders do that, right? So that is something I want you to take that with you, that it was always knowing that you had the belief that I could. Even if I was like, I don't know how we gonna do it. Like you would say to Takia, you about to style me and walk off. Like just walk off. And I was like, you're not gonna give me no direction. You're not gonna tell me how this work. Like, how do people do this? You would just walk off and you would be like, and I'll be back. What'd you say, 2 weeks? Okay. And I was like, wow.
You know, what I saw during the time that we created a pitch competition, I think I really got to see you in action, right? Because we're talking 2017, I saw you pitch. 2018, we brought it to Baltimore.
Yes.
And I really got to see how you move. And I really got to see how you work together. And so when I find good people that work together, and I'm going to hire them for everything I got hired them for. This is just how I feel. And this is, honestly, that's the way things work. That's the way things work behind the scenes. And so on Dawn's episode, she said, I told her she needed to be more likable. And it was not because she wasn't likable at all. It was because what I recognize is that I don't know if people will come back. Like, people work with you one time.
Yes.
But you need to be likable in a way where people come back and hire you over and over. Right. And like when they think of who they going to hire for that thing, or when they think of that product they're going to buy, they're thinking of you. They're not thinking of nobody else. Even if it's not right now, I might be like, I don't need this right now. But if I do ever need that, this is what I'm going to. And seeing you work behind the scenes to help me pull it together, the way you pull the relationship with the studios for us to get the space and just like, you like, what? We need to, okay, so do you have this? Okay, what? And then you just like, okay. And it was just so easy. On top of the fact that you are a phenomenal makeup artist. I mean, like, hands down. I'll be trying to pull you out of retirement all the time, but you know,
I train them good. I train them good.
Your team is great. They are. They really are. They really, really. I love this year. I love the team. But still, if ever you want to come out of retirement, you ever think about opening them books,
okay, I got it.
And it falls in line with when I'm gonna need some makeup done.
Call me. But you know what? It was you though that told me that it was okay. That it was okay.
Well, you wasn't gonna let it go.
I wasn't, because I didn't know how to CEO. Right? So I didn't know how. I mean, nobody tells you how. They don't tell you how to do that. Like, you know, when I started and people were asking, like, what's your exit strategy? I'm like, man, I just got started. How are you going to ask me how it's going to end? Like, that's crazy to ask somebody that. But it wasn't until I was doing it. And I'm just like, Takia, how you going to stop? Like, you had to figure something out. And I remember calling you and saying, Omi, I don't know. Like, I'm struggling to kind of keep all the balls in the air. I'm struggling trying to, you know, raise these kids and run a business and you were just like, you can stop. And it was just as simple as like, whoa, I could stop.
I mean, I think it's important. I have this theory about the human body that we are actually not built to see ourselves, right? Considering that like before mirrors created, the only way to see yourself was in the water, and that was fluid, right? So even looking at yourself then was a fluid version of of what you look like. And I believe that like one of the things about our relationship is that you see me and I see you.
Yes.
And that is that mirror kind of like thing, because for me it'd be like, girl, you got this. You know what I mean? For you it'd be like, girl, why you even think about it? You got, you know, right. Like why you even spend your time thinking it ain't? Because it is, right? And so I think that like that was it for me. I mean, going from having your mobile studio getting compound, like going to the. It
was illegally. It was
in my mind, I want to use the word abducted.
Let's go with it. It was abducted. It was abducted illegally. It just happened to be abducted by my own city,
right? You
know, so yes, it was illegally impounded. And so she was illegally impounded, and we fought for months because I knew that. I'm like, no, you are wrong. So I fought. And I mean, you know, fought with no lawyer. No, I couldn't afford, you know, 20, 30,000. So no lawyer. I was going into court and we won. Like I won 6 cases to get my bus out. And I remember the day I went to go pick her up and I was like, we won. I had went back and the lady behind the counter had been with me the whole time. Like, so she was like, you did it. Like, you got it. And I went to go pick her up and she was destroyed. Like they had destroyed it. It was gutted. Like it had no windows. And I recorded it that day because I was so like hurt. I was devastated and I was relieved all at the same time. Like it was like relief because it was just kind of like, okay, it's done. Like it's over. Like you can move on. And people don't talk about that part. Like I agree. Like I was crying like that. And it was just like a overwhelming feeling of like, and it's over. And I kept moving.
The business wasn't over, just the studio.
Just part. That part. Like that part. And sometimes we hold on to stuff that we know we're supposed to let go of. And I'm a firm believer of things will be moved whether you want them to or not. I had held on to pretty so because that was my thing. I thought that defined me. I thought it defined my business. I thought like I was the woman with the bus. I was the makeup artist with the bus. And so it was all about something but who are you by yourself? Like standing straight tall up with nothing around. And I couldn't navigate that space. So it was removed from me. So I had to figure it out.
I think what an incredible story of resilience. Also, like so we did a filming. So formerly the Shelley Bell Show, now the alumni show.
Yeah.
And you were my co-host. And we did a filming of like your story. And when I watched the video back and I heard you say you were homeless. Now I heard you say that before, like you had lost your place, but I didn't realize that this was actually during the time that I knew you.
Yeah.
That this was happening. And I got like, oh my God, why did she tell me? You know what I mean? Like literally. Because I'm like, she helped me plan this fish competition the whole time she lived in her mother's basement. It got flooded. And I'm like, what in the world? Where in the world do you get this incredible level of resilience?
I don't know, but I will say, I have 2 daughters and a son. And at one point you can't stop, right? Like you just, it was no stopping in it. Like they were looking at me like, we're going to figure it out, right? Like, mommy, and I'm just like, yeah, we're going to figure it out. But I didn't allow myself to know how hard it was. I didn't. Like, it wasn't until we weren't homeless that I realized that we were. Try that on for size. Like, it took me a minute to even figure out that that you were blowing up a mattress in your studio space, right? That you and your kids was taking bird baths in the bathroom. And I was still pitching. I was still doing people's makeup. I was still showing up pretty, and I realized that I had to create something for us outside of, this thing. So I don't know where it comes from. I just know that we all have it.
Yeah. And it can be activated any moment, especially about different circumstances.
Quickly. Yeah. Like quickly. And a lot of us are going through and we don't even know. That's right. We were going through. So somebody is going through and that's going to be okay.
At what point, so you go through this experience, lose the pretty mobile studio, keep doing makeup. Yeah. At what point did you think about moving into products?
So, y'all told me, my customers told me. So I didn't think about it. I was like, I'm never going to sell products. I did. I was like, I'm never going to sell products. I don't like, matter of fact, my business model is no products. Like you don't sell products. I wanted to give my customers the opportunity to do it themselves, to find different products, to not be beholden to one product or one. And so I was like, no, my customers were like, girl, you better, how am I going to keep this lipstick on? It was like, how am I going to keep this lipstick on? And they will be like, you need to sell this. You need to sell something. You need to give me something to keep my lipstick on. And so I was like, I don't know. So I started playing around with like colors and pigment and just seeing what I could figure out for myself. And we created 6 colors. I remember this, 6 colors. And I only had enough money to get 100 units of these 6 colors. And I was riding home and we had, how you trying to name your products? So I'm out here trying to name these products and I'm like, cherry cola. Sugar plum fairy. Like I was just trying to come up with something. And I couldn't. Like, I would come up with 6 names and I would forget the names immediately. Like, I would forget them. They'd be like, well, what's the red gonna be? And I'm like, I can't remember. Was it sexy red? Hot tamale red? But it wasn't until I started naming them after the history of the Black experience in Baltimore that it all kind of meshed together for me. So it was kind of like me selling to you because you told me to, but me being able to impart what I really love, which is history too.
Yeah, because I didn't know what Norma Jean was.
Okay, well.
Norma Jean is my favorite color.
Yes, Norma Jeans is your favorite color.
That color, this is what I'm wearing right now.
It is.
I love it.
It's so beautiful.
I get so many compliments on it.
And the shit I share.
And I thought it was a restaurant.
No, ma'am. No, ma'am. Okay. That is a whole strip club.
Norma Jean's actually a strip club. Okay. But
it is actually. Yeah.
Is in my favorite color at the same time. It's still existing.
It is. Norma Jeans is still existing. But I think we don't discuss the history of Black dance when it comes to strip clubs.
Okay, come on.
See, that's the thing. Like, it's not just about, like, a lot of times people see these things or like, oh my God, it's a strip club. But can we discuss the history of Black dance in our culture? What dance means, what dance signifies, what dance says, how we speak through dance and how we celebrate through dance. And, and so it was just really kind of like, yes, that's a thing. And so everything is, yes, that's a thing. And.
Well, a little known fact about me, I bartended in a strip club for maybe a year.
Yeah. Beautiful.
When I lived, maybe about at least 6 months.
And some of those amazing entrepreneurial women that work in strip clubs. Hello.
Come on now.
Okay.
I can't do it. I mean, like, I can't do what they're doing. My body don't. I don't know how you just
don't even,
and then I don't really know
the acrobat.
How do bodies do that?
The training.
The Cirque du Soleil of it.
Yeah. Hello. Okay. All right. But even still, how they take that circumstance and we make jokes about it, like, about, you stripping to put yourself through school. And right, like, okay, like, like, you stripping because, like, and you start a business, you stripping it, okay, like, but let's start taking the stigma off of some of these things and have a discussion about it.
No, I think that's right. Launching the products.
Yeah.
What's that journey like?
You listen, I'm still trying to figure it out. It has been very satisfying, and it has been one of the hardest things I've ever tried to do. It really is. Like, doing makeup is so totally different from having a product. You meet your customer in a different way, right? So I could look at your face and tell you if I was doing something wrong or right, or if you liked it, if you didn't, while in the act of me doing the service, right? When you're doing makeup. With product, you can't do that. You send that thing off into the abyss and you never know what happens, So it was just really trying to get my feet wet about how do you manage this? How do you compete with other brands that are, in essence, doing the same thing that you're doing? How do you compete with that? How do I compete with Sephora's and Ulta's and, indie brands? Like, you're competing with everybody, like MAC, all the way down to the, your homegirl in the kitchen who's making lip glosses. Like, you're competing with all of them. So how do you do it? How do you differentiate yourself?
You've carved out the space.
I appreciate you for saying that.
I mean, come on now. If you do a drop right now.
Yeah, we about to drop. I think it'll be fine. But I think what I've learned in this journey is to build a tribe.
Okay.
Like, so is it really about, do you have 100 core people that if I drop something right now, they're going to buy it?
Yeah.
Do you have a core group that if I drop the new color right now, they going to scoop it up? Or do you have that? And I think sometimes we overlook that because we're trying to get new, like, you're always thinking about the new. And I've always thought about, who do I have currently? Who's in my network right now that if I drop something, and we got them Thundercats don't play about their lipstick.
And I mean, as the unofficial leader
of the Thundercat Nation,
the Lippy Club, you know what I'm saying? I stand on that. You know, like I think you're 100% right. And I think people spend so much time trying to get like thousands of, you know, yeah, you want that, but you want that core audience that is going to tell you whether this is good or, you know, this is right. Is this not right? This is it. Y'all want that? Okay, got it. Yeah. And they're gonna always come back.
Yeah. And can you test your market? Like, can you test, like we dropped shades that I thought would be bangers and they like, nah, girl. Like, no, but can you, do you have that? Can you test that market and then rely on them to come back and tell you something good about it?
What's that journey like from a family standpoint, right? Like you have oldest daughter who's been doing her thing. She's killing it too. Middle daughter gone to college, you know, and then your son's still in grade school. At one point you were homeschooling him.
Yeah.
I have aspirations to do that one day.
Yeah.
What's it like?
It has been an amazing journey. Today, as we sit here, right? We sitting here talking. My son is in the green room, right? And I cried the other day driving because I realized that I had prayed for this moment. That I had prayed so hard when I was getting up and taking them to school and the daycare and getting to work. And I had prayed like, please, God, just can you make a way for me to be with my kids? Like, can you make a way for them to, you know, me not to have to rush all the time and run, and I can't take them to work and I got to ask somebody for permission to take off or be sick or for them to be sick. Like, God, I need you to come. I need you to show up. And he did, like big God, you know? And so today as we got here, like it was amazing that my son got to sit next to me and he gets to see me. He gets to look on a monitor and he gets to see his mom. And my daughters get to see what it's like to live out any dream that because you can't say that you can become anything that you want and then you don't become what you want. You can't tell your children that. Like, you can't say you can be everything that you want to be and then you got this wild dream that you
sitting.
Yeah. So I get to, you know, and they wild, but I also have to contend with the fact that I made them sacrifice too. They sacrificed for this.
So did my children.
So
did any children of any entrepreneur.
They sacrificed for this. And so we have to respect that too and be willing to hear them when they say that's enough. Like, I want my mom. Like, they don't know me as Takia Ross like everybody outside or Kiki Thunder or, you know, the person that they don't know me. I'm their mom. So it's just like mom.
Yeah,
please.
Yeah. Your mom, was there a point where your mom was like, oh, that's nice, and then she was like, oh shoot, this is a real business? Or was your mom always like, she always believed?
No, my mother thought I was crazy. No, I mean, she probably think I'm still crazy to this day. She probably think, I mean, she rocks out with me. But when I told my mother that I was quitting my good government job that I had went to school for and got debt for to be a makeup artist, I think she about lost her mind. She looked at me and said, who gonna take care of them kids? Like, that's exactly what she said. She said, who gonna take care of them kids? And I was just like, well, I'm gonna figure it out, you know. But I will say my mother never said I told you so. She never said you couldn't do it. You know, like she never said you can't do that. You know, when I had to move back home, like I was fully into my business when I had to move back into my mother's basement. She didn't like make me feel like you failed. Like, this is, I mean, I felt like I had failed. Like, you know, you 30 some odd years old moving into your mama basement with 3 children.
Right.
How does that even work? Like, and you trying to reconcile in your head with that. Like, it's okay. You know, we're just here for a little bit. I'm helping my mom. No, my mother was helping me.
Right.
She was making sure I was okay.
Right.
So, but she with me. You'll see her. You know, she right there.
So, let's talk about styling, right? Because you go, okay, so mobile makeup studio, boom, we go into products. Now we go into styling. Yeah. So first of all, you were always fly, always great jewelry, always great earrings, all the things.
Thank you.
And so I'm like, okay, girl, I think you can do this.
Exactly. And that's how it happened. And then, so if the next question is, how do you start that on me? Omi calls you and says, hey, I need you. I remember it. You said you call and say, hey, I don't know if you do this, but I need new images. And I said, oh, okay. I was like, I can do your makeup. And you was like, no, I need everything. I need makeup. I need hair. I need a photographer. I need clothes. I need you to coordinate it. And there it is.
I think that was the podcast. Was that the podcast?
I don't even know what. No, Omi, that's when you had that African top on when I got you.
Yeah, that was the podcast.
Listen,
shoot with experience.
Well, yes. And that's how it started. Omi calls you and says, hey.
And to this day, that is still my favorite photo shoot. And we probably use those images like over and over. It was so great. And the partnership we did with Nike, we still have a partnership with Nike, but in that partnership, they use those images too. So they use those images for actually an artist. One of the ones we took outside with the yellow love shirt on. I had a updo with the scarf on. And we used that image for the ad for the Nike campaign.
It was awesome.
And so that was like super dope. And those images actually were in the Nike app when they did the run of us in the Nike app. And the images that they continue to use. So that was like amazing. And then we did styling for the Nike engagement that we did in LA.
That was crazy.
That was dope.
Yes, but nobody knows that we were standing up inside of a wall.
Right. That was so NBA All-Star, right? I'm like, I need some styling. We got to do this thing. So I go to Takia. She does my makeup. We do. So she's just taking shots of me. Honestly, we were like in the co-working space.
Yes.
And we were about to leave the room. And I said, wait, let's take one up here. I hopped on top of a little part of the wall.
You was in the wall, ma'am. You were in.
Lean back. She took the photo. Yeah. That was the photo they got on the billboard, on the Nike billboard.
You can't make this up. Like you really can't. And I think part of it is saying yes. Like just saying yes. Because all of it was just about us. We had no plans. We didn't know.
No.
We were just like, we're going to figure this out. You said we got to come up with something. We're going to come up with some images in the wall. Well, I remember Nike didn't even know what the coat. Remember, they was just like, what jacket is this?
That's right.
They didn't even know that was that jacket.
Well, it was interesting is that so you did the styling for the mural and for the film, for the short film. And I was like, where is she finding these Nike clothes at? You were so deep in the website. I contacted the Nike people to get the clothes. I don't think they had ever seen. But this is, and I told you this later, realizing your impact on stylists. Before that, we never saw Nike shoes and people with pencil skirts and Nike shoes on. Before that billboard, before we did that engagement with them, that was never a thing. And now we seeing women with pencil skirts and tennis shoes and Nikes on. And I'm like, no, that was your impact.
I appreciate you for saying that. I appreciate that. I'm going to receive it because I remember us having a conversation and I said women don't wear Nike like that.
That's right.
I'm like, we don't wear our clothes that way. Like we wear Nike. Yes. We wear lots of things. We're not going to wear it that way. And so it was just us taking our spin on coats. And I remember we were wearing golf. Remember I got y'all golf pants?
Honey, that whole, everything we had on, like, in that mirror was, and I tell people, like, everything we got on here is Nike. Y'all know that, right? Because, like, we're dressed up.
Yeah.
Like, Dawn has on, like, a cute, like, Nike bodysuit.
Yes.
You know what I mean? With a big skirt on. I have on a Nike top with some dress pants. And we are, like, business casual but also wearing Nike clothing, not just Nike shoes.
Yes.
And I'm like, I have no idea where she found these items. And they ended up sending us a box of the stuff.
Yes. It was amazing.
It was
amazing. I think part of it is making sure you do your best every time. Like every time. And so it was, and you are my friend. I think I think that for me, it just hits me different. Like you are my friend. And so that meant that I was going to spend hours scouring that Nike website, and I was going to scroll to the bottom of the pages until I found, yes, I think that we represent each other. And I think as women, that's something I want us to all I represent. If I come outside and I have on your piece, your shirt, your pants, you know what I mean? I'm representing a part of you, right? And so for you, the fact that you said Takia, like, like it was like Omi and Takia stuff, that's enough. Like when you say this, and I'm gonna act a fool. Don't ever let me.
I just want to say how much I deeply, deeply appreciate every yes that you gave me, because it also meant you were taking a chance on you, but you were taking a chance on me too. You were taking a chance on, like, it was a trust level. Mm-hmm. That's the key. Yeah. The level of trust that you like, okay. Because, and I'm like, look, I got this, I'm gonna hire you. Mm-hmm. If we could do this thing, I'm hiring you. We got the budget. I want a certain look. I want a certain feel. I know that you can accomplish that. From making a glam studio for a BGV pitch. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And I mean, we was doing it. We was styled up. Them videos
were the best.
Okay. We had a good time. People contact me to this day, and like, I watch as many of the BGV pitch videos as I can to actually learn how to pitch and listen to the feedback of the judges.
As they should.
And I'm like, it's a masterclass.
Yeah, it is. And I hope that whoever's listening to this can see that, can hear that.
Yeah.
Like, go back. Like, you don't have to reinvent the wheel. We gave it to you. We gave you the outline and the blueprint.
That's right.
We gave you all the answers to all the questions. We showed you how to create a pitch deck, how to pitch it, what to say, what not to say, how to get your finances in order.
That's right.
Right? We told you how to get those marketing materials together. We told you everything. But I think it was because nobody told us.
That's right.
So because nobody said anything to us about it, we decided, and you decided and brought all of us along. Think of it. You decided that you were going to do something about an issue that you saw. And we all said, we gonna help you do it. We all said, come where you need me to be.
And this is why the idea of like Black women all support each other, that's ridiculous.
Well, that's a lie. Well, that's one of the biggest lies ridiculous. That was ever told. And if you continue to repeat that lie, it just kind of keeps it in the cycle of things, right? And it allows people to create a narrative about Black women that are not true. That is not true. In reality, we are the most supportive group of people. We have no other choice. I have no other choice, but I know that my success hinges on the success of Black women, period.
That's right.
So if I'm gonna help you, baby, I'm gonna tell you how to get there, where to go. I'm gonna point you in there. I'm gonna walk you to the door. I'm gonna open it. Because if you get it, I'm gonna get it too.
I remember one time I called you and I said, I'm about to do this David Bowie photo shoot.
Oh my God.
And I need you to create a thunderbolt over my eye.
And I'm just looking around the room. Everybody, this is me.
Can you do that? Can you create a thunderbolt over my eye? Because I'm feeling like I need to do this David Bowie photo shoot. That is one of my favorite photo shoots that I ever done. Yeah.
I'm gonna talk to you about that. Like, I don't know how to put a thunderbolt over your eye, but I'm gonna draw a thunderbolt. We're gonna get it.
And we did it.
We did it.
And that thing looked great.
Yeah, it did.
And my hair is red then.
Yeah.
So like it matched right with it. It was perfect. I loved it.
It was, again, but the yes is that. It's the yes. Like, yeah.
Yeah.
But and it's so funny because, both of us, read a lot and do a lot of, it's funny, like, I've read the statistics about how, or, information about how women feel like they need more credentials, right? So women will credential themselves to death. I need another degree. I can't take this position. I can't do this. I don't have this. So I need another degree. I need another certificate. I need more years of experience. Like, you'll keep going about all of the things that you need. But men, on the other hand, will say yes and be nowhere near
That's right.
where they need to be to do any of the things they just said. but they're going to show up and they're going to figure it out. And so it's just kind of like women, I want them to say yes and figure it out.
What's on the horizon for you?
Oh, that's a deep question. You just went right in with that. You didn't give me
that. Are you ready? You got it.
I'm okay. We're doing a lot more with So You Want to Pitch. So that's a lot more with that. Especially because of our impact in the marketplace, right? In Baltimore, there are 12,000 small businesses right now. And many of them are not accessing capital at all. 86% of them do not access any kind of capital at all. So they're running just off savings and, and that's cool to a certain extent, right? So we're doing a lot of that. With Kiki Thunder Cosmetics, she's growing. Like, I'm giving myself permission to grow. Like, I'm giving myself permission to grow in a way that speaks to me, right? A lot of times it's like, are you going in Sephora? Are you going in Ulta? Maybe not. I might want to stay independent. I might want to stay being able to create what I want to create, when I want to create it and how I want to create it. So she's growing. She, I speak about her like she's a whole nother person, but she's coming up with new products. But a page out of my friend Omi's book, Omi will always tell me, do you need another product or do you need to focus on the ones that you had that are already working? I remember you used to drill like, do you need another product? Do you need another color? Do you need, like you would, and I would be like, Omi, just support me. Focus. I'm trying to get you focus on me. And you would be like, no. Like you would like, no. Don't get another color. Focus on the colors you have. And I would be like, what does she keep saying to me? Like, why did she keep saying that? But it is true. Like, do you need another product or do you need to double down on your marketing with the ones that you have? Do you need another product or are you not doing everything that you can to get your product out there, right? And so it's like, that's what we're asking ourselves, the hard questions. Like, do you need another product or?
And I think it's because like the colors you have are so good. You know what I mean? Like there's one thing around like, do you need another product in terms of like, sort of marketing and like the churn that it takes as a product business. I think there's that, which I was speaking to that, but also like what you have created, your core is so good. Like, I mean, like the core that you got people like Maybelline and Matt who've taken years to try to get to the best core. Oh, you know what I mean? Like Ruby Woo wasn't Matt's first product. Right. You know, like it took them a while to get to that red and everybody was like, you got that Ruby Woo? Yeah. You know what I mean? And you have definitely done that with the, what is it, John? Crazy John. Right
around the corner from Norma Jean.
What is Crazy John? Is that a strip club?
That's a carryout. Oh. No, that's a carryout.
I'm about to say, Lord. It's fine. Put them on. Carryout. Okay, I'm a different person.
Carryout. That's the part of the chicken box collection.
Oh, okay. So it's like everybody's like, what is that red you have on? You know, that's the funny thing about reds. People, you can have a bunch of different reds, but you got that one where somebody like, what red is that? Yeah, that's everybody in here got on red, but that red right there,
that's the red I want.
Yeah. You know, and so I think you have a core set that's like so good. I mean, I can see partnerships.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, no, I can see partnerships, and I mean partnerships in a way. Because one of the things, okay, girl, don't get me into. Okay. You know, I'll get this.
I know. Listen, we
okay, but real quick, because I got it on my mind.
Okay, I got it.
So, because it's a long-lasting design to stay kind of formula, I could actually see you maybe partnering with some food brands.
Me too.
Where the colors, like yogurt, color of the yogurt, color of the thing.
Me too.
Nail polish, color of the nail polish.
You see how I'm just looking straight at you. Me too.
You know, even like local Baltimore food brands add a new something to the menu. Ooh, this, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Anyway,
I love how you just try to drop a little something and then you walk off. See, that's how you've been doing this for years. That's why we've been together for these many years. You do this all the time. You drop a little nugget, then you walk off.
Cause I'm like, that's such a great it's designed to stay, and it does. And that's what get people. We've been together. I could be with somebody at conference all day, We done ate about 3 meals. You know what I'm saying? We about to be like, all right. And they text me like, your makeup is still, like, your lipstick is still falling. What is that? You know what I mean? So, and I be telling all the makeup artists, like, this is the only one I'm using.
I appreciate
you need to put this one in your kit.
I appreciate you.
What?
Yeah, I do. And I want you to know that. I do. I appreciate you. I appreciate you for making space, for making room, for taking us with you, for never forgetting, right? I appreciate you for loving us in our crazy moments when we about to lose it all, you know? I appreciate you for allowing us to grieve and the grace to grow. I appreciate you for telling us it's okay to stop, but never quit. Right? I appreciate you answering the phones, because not everybody answers the phone. Right? And I appreciate you for trusting me to trust you, because that's a big thing. Like, you trust me. Like, you know what? I know she trusts me. So, and it's just that thing back and forth.
That's
like, I don't know what you're doing, boo. I have no clue. But guess what? I'm be right there.
I appreciate you so much. I do. I mean, and you know, I think, and I'm not always easy with my feedback. Okay?
No.
But
No.
because when people send me invoices, I'm like, black woman, take this invoice back. They need you for this,
Oh, yeah.
be thorough with your invoice.
Yeah.
But right? Like,
But you taught us so much. Nobody tells you that.
Because nobody freaking told me.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So to your point earlier that you were making, like, nobody told me your invoice need to look like this, because that is a sign that you know what you're doing.
Yeah.
Because not even like, okay, like maybe somebody else did accept it. Not like that.
Yeah.
That's true too. But then what sign did you give them?
Yeah.
And that little nuance in language, I learned that as I grew my company, as I grew like into philanthropy.
Right.
Into working with other people, into working with bigger brands. And I'm like, oh, y'all looking at, this is a communication tool.
Yeah.
I didn't have to say anything, but I sent you this proposal, and you looked at it and was like, yeah, they don't know what they're doing. You know what I mean? Like, just wild levels of things that block you out of opportunity that ain't always inequity just because you Black.
Right.
You know what I mean?
But I think too, it speaks to a privilege that we didn't know existed, right? So people are privileged to know that information. If you've never been exposed to it, I've never been exposed to how to write a proper invoice to Nike. Like, how do you, what do you, I never even thought I was going to ever work with Nike. Nike wasn't even on my, so it's just like, when you think about that you've never been exposed, the privilege of knowing how to submit a viable invoice. What does that even look like? Right? You don't know. And so I think that's really, that speaks a lot as we grow. Like, how are we helping other people grow too? How are you sharing? And you don't have to give them your secret sauce. But if you tell people, like, listen, you can't just be sending a PayPal invoice with one line item.
Right.
I'm just saying, you can't just say makeup.
Right.
On that. What is that? What is that? I mean, because I remember, like, you were really clear with me. You was like, when you send this invoice, make sure. And it got to the point where I remember your CFO called me and was like, your invoice is so long that it's on a couple of pages. Like, how detailed is this? Listen, I was like, well, at least this is what I am. This is what you're paying. Everything. That the times, the dates, the number of this, it was just, but I wouldn't have never known.
Yeah. All right. So the question.
Oh, it's a question.
Is, where are you now? Now, where are you now? It could mean multiple things. It could mean financially, revenue, company, personal, spiritual, but like whatever, where are you now means to you, the first thing that comes to mind. Where are you now?
Free. I'm free. That's where I am. I wake up every day and I get to do exactly what I want to do. Every day. I've never experienced this. I will be 45 this year. I've never experienced it. I've always had to answer to somebody. And every morning I get to wake up and decide. I don't even have to listen to me sometimes. It's faithful. But I'm free.
Well, do you think you in your entrepreneurial journey were always there, or do you feel like that's actually come more into fruition in the last couple of years?
I think it's in the last year. In the last year, giving myself permission to do exactly what it is that works for me. Like not works for anybody else, not works for any other business, not works for any other mother, daughter, but what works for me? What works for me is I get to pick my son up and take him to school every day. So that means that you will only get me as the role of a CEO between the hours of 9 and 2. That's it. And so what I can't get done between 9 and 2, and realizing that I get to define what my success looks like. It may not be a number. It may not be, I have to have a multi-million-dollar business. It may not be that. That might be exactly what success looks like for you. And go for it, girlfriend. I'm here. I love it. Mine looks like picking him up and dropping him off. Mine looks like when my daughter says, Mommy, can you come to Alabama? I need you. That I can get to Alabama because she needed me. Mine looks like, talking to my daughters in the morning time. It is deciding that I want to teach a class and teaching the class. Right? That's what it looks like. It's so free. It's cutting your hair off on a Tuesday because you felt like
okay, listen. And I call that also freedom and the peace that passeth all understanding. When I read that, when you read that in the Bible, it's like, oh, it's talking about God, right? It's talking about a higher power. Mm-hmm. But when I read it, I'm like, wow, what an achievement.
Mm-hmm. It is.
What an achievement.
I haven't gotten to that level of peace. You know what I mean? I'm still working on that. But the freedom that I feel now, the freedom to show up as I am, like that wasn't always true, right? So just as I am, wild, I might say a few cuss words, colorful language, colorful language. I'm going to wear my shirt backwards because why not? I'm going to have on every color or not, right? It's just like however you feel, like, can you show up like that? That's what I do. That's freedom for me.
Love that. Well, I love you, my friend.
I love you too.
And I appreciate you. I cannot express in words the level of appreciation and honor that I have for having you in my life.
It's love back and forth. If they knew what would happen when the cameras go off, if they knew how we gonna cut up bad. Listen, we gonna cut up bad.
Thank you so much for joining me. I appreciate you.
Thank you for having me. You pretty too.